Mature trees are really important vertical structures that connect the landscape and bats can forage around.
They can sometimes have cracks and crevices that are used by bats for roosting. Native tree species support a large diversity of insects. In particular, the oaks, sessile and pedunculate oaks, support a huge variety of insect species. From a bat point of view, trees are really important for landscape connectivity and navigation. Sometimes mature trees can become injured, but where possible, we recommend that limbs are removed rather than the entire tree trunk, if it's safe to do so.
So, Rosie,
Yes.
you are really fortunate to have fabulous mature trees in your garden.
Yeah.
About how old do you think they are?
We think they're probably the same age as the house, so I'd say late 1700s, early 1800s, we're not exactly sure. But that also can be a negative in that we've lost quite a few.
Okay.
And you can just see that, do you remember that storm last February?
Mm.
You can just see behind me the Monterey cypress. Unfortunately, it didn't fall down, but it lost half of its limbs.
Okay.
So rather than just taking it down, we've cut back the limbs and I'll probably grow a creeper or something up it.
So from a bat point of view,
Yes.
they can be really important because the older they get, the more crevices and cracks form in them, and also then the thick old bark.
Yeah.
Sometimes flakes, and that forms small little crevices that bats can crawl in behind
Oh,
to roost. So all of
Okay.
these would be small little roosting
yeah.
places for bats.
Even where a tree fully dies off but needs to come down, leaving dead wood on the ground supports huge numbers of invertebrates.
The amount of habitat that it provides for different insects, for all sorts of wood lice, and it's brilliant shelter. If you do have like an area that you can just leave some dead wood there, you'd be amazed what you'll see.
At Wild Acres, they've been growing their own oak trees from acorns they've collected.
It's been a wonderful project over the last few years. We started off by literally just collecting local acorns from a beautiful veteran tree less than half a kilometre from here.
Great.
So 2 years ago we would have collected about 500. We put them into module trays,
Okay.
grew them on, and these are the results. So
Okay.
there's actually, say, 5 beds of 100.
Okay.
So that's the 500. Yeah, most of them germinated.
Brilliant.
And, so they're looking great. You can see the growth on them this year. But it's really important to be growing trees, local province trees, native trees. And,
It also reduces the chances of importing these diseases like ash dieback or
absolutely.
anything like that. Other native tree species include silver and downy birch, alder, crabapple, wild cherry, willows, and rowan.
In suburban gardens, smaller shrubs can work better. These include elder, hazel, blackthorn, and Guelder rose.
Hedgerows are extremely important in Ireland as a way to connect the landscape for wildlife.
Bats usually fly along hedgerows for a number of reasons. They're camouflaged against their predators. The hedgerows help bats navigate in darkness. And swarms of insect gather on the opposite side of the wind direction, so there's a source of food there for the bats. Different native shrubs that can be included in hedging: hawthorn, holly, hazel, spindle, and willow. Hedgerows that aren't trimmed regularly are better for bats. The plants that grow at the base of these hedgerows, like grasses and other species, provide cover for bats and insects and shouldn't be sprayed. So many insects lay their eggs in water and go through their larval stages in water that you really can do very little better for bats than put in a pond. When these insects emerge as adults, they usually swarm above the water, where bats then feed in the evening. Bats can also use ponds to drink from, which is particularly important in urban areas where streams and rivers are often channeled underground, and there are few sources of drinking water that are not lit up at night. Ponds can be anything from mini ponds made from supermarket crates, to slightly larger ponds that fit in a suburban garden, to a mini lake if you have the space. The majority of large bat roosts in Ireland are in buildings. This is because these are places with the right conditions for females to give birth and rear their young in the summer. However, bats can use crevices and cracks in trees. And they do sometimes use bat boxes, although not usually in large numbers. To maximise the chances that they will be used, they should be placed at heights of around 3 metres or higher. They should not be constructed using treated timber, and they shouldn't be lit up at night. For more information, see gardeningforbats.com or watch the rest of the videos in this series.